So this is our today's topic which we are going to cover, that is experimental design. Okay, so first let us write, let me explain you what is experimental design. So the systematic design of an experiment which may define degree of uncertainty in an experiment is called as experimental design. Okay, so write the definition. The systematic design of an experiment which may define the degree of uncertainty in an experiment is called as experimental design. So the collection of data and analysis should be well planned and organized so as to obtain a productive design with least sampling error. So there are some points to be considered. So the following points are to be considered while designing the experiments. So the first point is the extraneous variation that is except variation in the data should either be abolished or controlled. While carrying out absolute experiments, the absolute value of certain characteristics are to be determined. Then the second point which you need to remember is a right type of design must be selected. Then the third point is sufficient number of replications for each treatment must be considered so as to generate suitable inference. Number 4 is allocation of the treatments to the experimental units shall be done randomly. So now let us understand principle of experimental design. So what is the principle of experiment design? So the main aim of experimental design is to improve the efficiency of an experiment and to decrease the experimental error. So this can be achieved by practicing the principles of experimental design. So they are: number one, replication; number two, randomization; number three, local control. So now let us understand one by one what are these three. So first let us take up replication. What do you mean by replication? Replication is nothing but repeating the treatments under examination several times. Okay. So write down: replication may be defined as a process of repeating the experiments or repeating the treatments under examination several times. So in order to determine the experimental error, it is necessary to apply the treatment several times. Since it is difficult to know the variation if the treatment is applied only once. So replication also helps an experimenter to determine the influence of the chance factors, the influence of the chance factors on various experimental units. Thus, more reliable estimation is possible with replication than with a single treatment. So you can easily figure out the errors if you are doing replication, like when you are treating multiple times. So replication by reducing the experimental error improves the precision. So the relation between replication and precision is given as precision of the experiment is inversely proportional to the square root of replication. So number of replications can be calculated in order to infer that the difference between the two treatment is significant at a given level. And the minimum number of replications can be determined by using the following equation. T is equal to x1 bar minus x2 bar by SD root over 2 by R, where T is table value, x1 bar and x2 bar are mean effects, SD is standard deviation, and R is number of replications.